Hi, Acacia. I hope I pronounced your name right. I went through the videos on your YouTube channel and I'm blown by how expressively you communicate. It is like every action of yours, every intonation in your voice, every stress, every expression of yours is all aligned towards getting your message across very effectively and getting across your message in the way that you want it to be received by whoever's listening to you. And I was wondering if you would be interested in working with me to help me communicate expressively and to communicate with an intention and to help me get my message across more effectively than I can do right now. To give you a background, my name is Saqib. I live in India and I'm a supply chain manager at Procter and Gamble. A large part of my work is speaking to others, making plans, following up on plans and execution plans that we have made, following up on progress, giving updates that here's what is happening, here's where we stand, and whether things are in control or out of control. And another thing that I do is pitch ideas. There are decisions to be taken, multiple decisions every day. And a large part of what I do is pitching ideas and making sure that we direct and we are aligned and we decide to execute on the right plans. And this is where communication is important. And I've been putting in quite a bit of work by myself. And I've worked with another trainer in the past. And of late, I've been putting in a little bit of effort. And where I really need your help is feedback. Feedback in three areas. One, how do you see me communicating? And this message that I'm sending to you should help you see my style and the patterns in my communication. And I think this will be consistent throughout. And in fact, let me try to record another video of me sharing a story, but I expect you'll see the same patterns even in the other recording. So the first is feedback. I would really love if you could give me feedback on progress and tell me how I'm going, and to really to give me feedback so that I can process and I know where I need to do things differently, and to reinforce where I'm doing well, and to correct me and give me direction where I need to do something different or I need to go practice something. What I've been told earlier is that I have been breaking in between my sentences, and I've been talking in a way that I would speak a few words and then I would break, I would gather my thought, and then I would speak a few words fast, and then again I would break. And that's how I was told that I'm communicating. And this is what I worked with someone else earlier to really speak in a flow. And I was told that I need to take longer breaths to pause. And when I speak, to speak in one go. This is something I've worked on. Another thing that I've been told is that I'm not expressive enough when I speak. And over here, I've tried to put dedicated action, I've tried to put dedicated practice over the past couple of weeks to really have inflections, to stress where I'm trying to communicate something important, and also to go down in pitch is what I've tried to do. So, and another thing I've been told is that I'm speaking at a higher pitch. And it would be nice for me to speak lower and for me to speak darker is something that I have been told just on my voice. So the first thing is, if you can give me an objective assessment, it could be offline ahead of our session, it could be during our session, however it works comfortable for you. If you could give me feedback on what I need to do and how I'm doing, and an honest feedback, it would really help. The second thing is I have noticed that although I put dedicated practice, although I might practice inflections and I might practice stressing and I might practice going down in pitch to have modulations and to avoid monotone and to engage the audience, what I find as I actually go on to speak is that I end up speaking faster. I speak like I used to speak earlier. In fact, the way I'm speaking now, I think is my best self because I'm prepared mentally and I've thought through what I want to speak. But that's not the case when I'm actually going on and I'm speaking to someone and I'm getting cues from other people and there are too many things happening and I'm trying to understand and I'm trying to gauge what others think and how my message is getting across. I feel that I'm practicing something, but it doesn't really translate to actual execution when I'm actually performing. And when I'm focusing on something, I find that subconsciously I revert back to my normal self where I'm just communicating fast. I'm just trying to get my message across and I'm not as engaging. That's the second. The third thing I would really like from you is how do I really practice? Do I break up speaking by individual components? I have seen bits of your video on intonation. So do I isolate something like, do I isolate intonation? Do I isolate like projecting my voice? And I practice this in isolation and I practice this to the extent that this becomes normal. This becomes part of my subconscious self. This becomes my usual way of speaking. So do I break down a speech into component and do I take a sentence and I practice it again and again just so that I master this component of speech? Is that how much effort should I give to this aspect of speech? And how much of my practice should really be taking this component that I'm practicing and trying to apply it to a normal speech? For instance, as I'm making this recording for you, should I take something that I've worked on, for instance, pauses or inflections, and try to apply this to an actual speech that I'm making right now? Is that something that I should practice? And the third part is that going beyond practice. So when I'm actually speaking and I'm actually presenting something, or when I'm actually in a conversation with someone, I find myself here that I'm not able to focus on something. I'm focusing on getting cues from the other person and trying to really gauge if my message is getting across. And I find that really a large part of my practice isn't translating to actual conversations. And I can practice all I want, but with the family that I am with and with the work that I have to do, I find myself having to do a lot of conversation. So I think practice will need to go in parallel, and it is something that will give incremental progress. But really, how do I take what I'm practicing and help it apply more and help it come more to life in day-to-day conversations? Is what I would like to learn from you. So to summarize, as we begin working, and I'm really looking forward to working from you and learning from you, and getting to know from you on three areas. One is feedback on how I'm doing, and the second is in terms of actual conversations. So what should I do? Is it breathing? Is it something else that I should do to address nerves and to help my actual conversations go the way I plan for them to go? And thirdly, what would be the best way to practice? There are different things we could practice. We could practice the individual components in isolation, and I could practice a few sentences over and over again. I could practice an entire speech. And also, how do I take all of this practice and apply this to actual situations when there's a lot happening? And how do I do a step change and apply my practice to everyday conversations? I'm super excited to be working with you, and I have been putting in a lot of work, and this is something I really want to improve on, and I think you're the perfect person to help me get to where I want to be. I do really look forward to working from you. Do let me know what works best for you, whether you would like to work on Fiverr, where I could leave you a review, or whether I could pay directly through the payment gateway on your site, and how you would like to take things forward. And I think on the time zone, we could work things. It could be morning your time or evening your time, and we would work that out. But really, so this is like an introduction video. And I hope with this, you would be able to get clarity on what I'm really looking for. And you would be able to be prepared and help me and make a plan so that we could work and have a very good partnership together. Awesome. Thank you so much. And I look forward to hearing back from you. And I'll try to send you another recording of me trying to tell a story where maybe a few elements that you could not gauge here in this recording. Maybe it is possible that you gauge these elements in the other recording that I'll send to you. Thank you and have a great day, Acacia. And I look to hearing back from you.